4th of July, 2010. Sunday, July 4th, 2010. That's the date and time. On this 4th of July, 2010, I, Michael Swenson, have decided to continue my fight against growing evil by our own and other governments around the world that are increasingly implementing policies of death upon innocent and unsuspecting citizens in the name of population management. My personal sufferings makes it unconscionable for me to allow the people that committed heinous crimes against my person with intent to murder me, to roam free and to do their evil to others. I have decided that the brave patriots who died fighting eugenic fascism in World War II did not do so because it was what they wanted to do. It wasn't fulfilling their dreams and ambitions for life. It wasn't at the top of their list to die in the battlefield against evil. But because when such evil on earth does arise and is done by wicked and insane persons, it unfortunately demands all sane and honorable individuals' efforts at either arresting them or stopping them, even if ultimately lethal force is necessary. I agree with all those who fought that evil in World War II, and I agree with our founding presidents who publicly stated that the 4th of July, Independence Day, should be forever a holy day unto our Lord Jesus Christ, who they publicly declared by divine acts won our freedom as an independent nation and people against the then tyrannical oppressors of their day. Sadly, after years of seeking a competent and honest investigation into heinous crimes I witnessed and survived firsthand, it appears that our own governing officials and other national governments are supporting and practicing quite similar atrocities as those committed by the Nazis. After devoting all my strength and energy to contacting all responsible persons of authority that had any jurisdiction in the matters I survived and witnessed firsthand, and I have supporting evidence as proof, I am left with no other reasonable action than to warn all citizens that mass murderers are being left loose in hospitals across this country, and the ones I witnessed firsthand are practicing their homicides for illegal organ harvesting and other evil motives at Deaconess Medical Center in Spokane, Washington, and Kootenai Medical Center NIBH Division in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. The first authorities I notified of these crimes occurred where I was living because local physicians were covering for the murderous ones and purposely were not running requested tests as further proof of what these criminals did to me. So my first attempts at securing public safety were signed affidavits sent to the Spokane, Bonner County, and Sandpoint police departments. Sadly, our society, through its unfortunate departure from God and reality thereby, to the brainwashed religion of evolutionary thought, drumming into people's minds that they came from monkeys despite all evidence scientifically to the contrary, has caused some of the most deplorable behavior in the history of the world. As local law enforcement, instead of arresting my complicit wife, who had been poisoning me over an extended period of time, so as to make it appear that I was dying of natural causes, so that she could get the estate and life insurance, instead of arresting her, decided to blackmail her for sex acts and leave a poisoner loose in society to potentially seduce and murder some other innocent victim. They thereby also left the mass murdering doctors and nurses loose to continue their depraved actions upon innocent persons for gain or for other insane reasons. Each victim that is murdered in hospitals in the United States of America and other countries, but in the United States of America, generates over $1 million of gross revenue in illegal organ transplants. There is more than enough reason for doctors and nurses and hospitals in general to continue these practices if citizens will not take note and demand accountability in the arrests of all such criminals. I did not realize at the time I reported these crimes how widespread these practices are, nor how hospital administrators threaten jobs, pensions, and lives to keep would-be whistleblowers on a tight leash. Nor did I realize the government's own involvement in supporting human experimentation and population management procedures and practices through these death squads in local hospitals nationally. It has been a horrific process of personal discovery as I have tried in vain to find even one sane and competent person in government anywhere willing to address these crimes in the name of public safety, fulfilling their oaths of office. For years I wondered at the prophecies in the Holy Bible condemning pharmaceutical manufacturers and all their pill-pushing colleagues to the flames of hell and the lake of fire, and I quote the original text in the Holy Bible, Revelation chapter 21 and verse 8. But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers and pharmacists and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burns with fire and brimstone, which is the second of death. And in Revelation 22:14 and 15 in the original text, blessed are all they that do his commandments, that they may have the right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. For without are dogs and pharmacists, and whoremongers, and murderers, and idolaters, and whosoever loves and make a lie. The word pharmacists, or those that manufacture drugs and distribute them and push them upon others and deceive them into taking harmful toxic chemicals to their detriment in the name of so-called medical science or medical treatment, was translated in the King James Version as sorcerers because that's what they called such alchemists in their day. But the original text in the Greek specifically says pharmacists, people that make drugs, people that chemically make toxins for human ingestion and call that acceptable medical practice, forcing it upon unsuspecting citizens. People are dying. There are numerous, thousands upon thousands of lawsuits over all the harmful toxins that are being put on the market approved by our government for human ingestion. And don't tell me these people don't know what they're doing. They won't take what they're prescribing, they won't take what they're manufacturing, and they're forcing it upon other citizens, innocent Americans, and especially in the mental wards of America. Anybody that is deemed mentally ill, life is in danger. If not their life, permanent brain damage and organ damage. You can literally be locked up having committed no crime whatsoever, having broken no laws whatsoever, by occultists these days called psychologists and psychiatrists, who can then assault you at any time they will, hold you down, forcefully feed you these substances, these poisons, until you're either brain dead or really dead. And this is occurring in this country, the United States of America. I witnessed it firsthand. I've got proof that this happened. And I can't get one single authority anywhere in this country to arrest these criminals. They are murdering people. They are not only just murdering people, they are torturing people. They smile as they destroy people's lives. They think it's funny to watch someone drool on themselves. These people are sick. What they are doing in the name of psychology and psychiatry is no better than the Nazi experimentation and tortures and murders that were done in World War II, that we all internationally condemned. They are killing people. It doesn't matter that they're using chemicals to do it. They are killing people. And people that try to resist them, that know these drugs are killing them, they force feed it to them. They hold them down. Those people, those poor citizens, don't have a chance. They are forced down by armed goons in these psychiatric wards that hold them down, that tie them down, and then inject them and or pour the stuff down their pried open mouths. They're fighting for their lives. People are dying. And I can't get anyone on the outside to believe this is going on. Anytime these patients actually escape these maniacs and try to tell authorities, they all just automatically go like this. I'm telling the truth. I witnessed this firsthand. They try to do it to me. I am a licensed and ordained minister. I'm an educated person, not highly educated, but educated in our colleges and schools in America. I'm not mentally ill. I saw these things take place firsthand when I know it sounds crazy, but it's the truth. I married a clever person, man, that poisoned me, tried to murder me, and when I went to authorities, because other people joined in, I didn't know her involvement at the time, and when I went to authorities about it, she did her best to discredit me, and one of the ways she did it was by betraying me to these people, claiming that I had lost my mind, rather than that I was telling the truth. They all joined together and are all lying about what they did to me. Of course they're going to. They tried to murder me. Nobody's going to come right out and say, oh yeah, we're doing this left and right that are doing these things. An investigation needs to occur. And not just where you go up and ask the murderers, are you doing these things? No. An investigation at the evidence, man, of the victims. I'm one of the rare survivors that knows what the hell happened to me, can testify firsthand what these people did to me, and has medical evidence proving they did it to me. And I can't get anybody to help me arrest these criminals? That to me says our government is sanctioning these actions and leaving these persons loose to prey upon innocent citizens at will. And if that's all right with you, then just all continue to pretend like this isn't going on until enough innocent citizens die or are tortured and come forward to cause you to realize, I hope it's not going to take another Holocaust before this put to a halt immediately. These people belong behind bars if not executed, man. There's no telling how many people they tortured and murdered. If I witnessed it firsthand and they tried to do it to me, I'm a rare survivor, and plus a person willing to go public, despite all the opposition I've received, despite all the looks, despite all the people going like this. Man, you people need to wake up. They are publicly advertising that they are putting on the market drugs that have caused deaths. We're not just talking a rare percentage here. We're talking hundreds of thousands of deaths. Lawsuits after lawsuits after lawsuits, and those are the documented cases. There are millions of undocumented cases of sufferers around the world. What they're doing is evil. God says so. And I've experienced it firsthand and know so. And I'm going to fight it with everything that I have. The prophecy that I also was troubled and wondered about was that it said all nations would be deceived by pharmaceutical medications until I witnessed firsthand what's going on in the name of medical treatment. The prophecy quoted in its original text is in Revelation 18, verse 23, as it states, "And the light of the candle shall no more shine at all in you, and the voice of the bridegroom and the bride shall be heard no more at all in you. For your merchants were the great men of the earth, for by pharmaceutical medications were all nations deceived." Despite reading the warnings of Brave New World in 1984, I asked myself, why would pharmaceutical manufacturers and their pill-pushing colleagues be condemned by God to the lake of fire? Did this not seem like harsh judgment to throw them into the flames of murderers? Till I witnessed firsthand while being betrayed by my murderous ex-wife into the hands of these psycho-quacks, calling themselves psychologists and psychiatrists. Consider the origin of their religion. It is based upon the opinions, the likes of Freud, Jung, and other individuals of secular humanistic worldview philosophies. This field has been experimenting on animals and humans and are associated with some of the worst horrors in human history. This cult, through brainwashing the public, has tricked the masses into thinking that they are scientists and doctors. They are individuals who devised tortures in Nazi Germany and performed horrendous experiments on innocent human beings. Psychological hospitals are so notorious for their crimes against humanity that movies such as One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest were made to warn us that these cultists think that torture in the form of electroshock therapy and lobotomies, chemical-induced permanent brain and organ damaging and premature death of their patients is all acceptable medical practice. I witnessed firsthand local psychiatrists giving toxic pharmaceutical medications to a man who was clearly jaundiced and dying from the administered medications. This medication specifically carried a warning in writing from the manufacturer not to administer that substance to anyone with liver damage, clearly. So doctors and nurses who can all read, or they would not be doctors and nurses, and who have monitored this patient's vitals daily, were literally poisoning this man to death. And there was nothing he could do about it. He knew they were killing him, and he told me plainly. And I asked him why he didn't refuse the medication, and he told me that he had tried repeatedly in vain. He told me firsthand that they would overwhelm him, hold him down, force-feed him the medication, or give him injections of it against his will. He testified to me that the whole way he even ended up there was that his wife concocted a scheme with an attorney to get him committed so she could spend funds he inherited from his dead mother. He testified of being assaulted and force-fed toxic substances that he knew was killing him repeatedly, and that he was without strength to fight it any longer. I testified firsthand that sadistic psychotic quacks that I saw with my own eyes actually laughed, thought it was funny that their patients were drooling on themselves and twitching uncontrollably because of the substances they were giving them. They enjoy, not all of them, some of them are so damn deceived themselves, they actually think that what they're doing is the way to treat people. And if that's the case, they're so unintelligent they should be permanently barred from medical practice, period. Either way, these things should not be going on. Whether they're so self-deceived and self-deluded that what they think is medical treatment, acceptable medical care, is torture.